we were done, but it was pretty simple. I mean, I think one of the things, it is edited. I mean, it looks like just one long sequence. It's not. It's very much Tom's work. He sculpted and crafted the moments. He had a lot of material. I mean, I pity the people watching the DVD featurette. You know, you might get all the alternative bits of emotional masturbation that you don't get in life. But no, I mean, he couldn't last forever, and he picked his moments, and he worked with a brilliant editor. And there's something almost musical about the way Tom shaped things, about the judgment that he used for the emotional hills and valleys of it, if you like.
So because of the way he did it, and because of the way you did that scene, and because of the way you did the whole thing, you now find yourself kind of down the rabbit hole and going from talk show to talk show, from awards thing to awards thing. This is not the only red carpet you're going to be on anytime soon. Are you enjoying that? What's it like? You are? You are good.
I'm loving it.
That's wonderful. Nobody ever says that.
They don't say they're loving it?
No, they say it's just anguish.
Yeah, weird, isn't it? I mean, it's like, what is that quote about those whom the gods wish to punish? You know, they fulfill their dreams or whatever. No, I'm okay. I'm doing fine, thank you. I mean, bring it on, really. There's something about this happening at my age. You know, I haven't had a lot of this, So in terms of awards recognition, and my shelf is full of awards that are pretty hard to explain.
You mentioned something about a fishing trophy.
Yeah, I do. That's true. No, the Ostend Fisherman's Choice. It's the fishing village in Belgium. And I don't want to belittle it. I'm very proud. I'm glad I'm big with Belgian fishermen, and it's fine. Liechtenstein's People's Choice Films of Gay Interest Award or something.
You won I think in Venice, the Queer Lion.
I did. I've got it.
What does that look like?
I don't know what it looks like. I haven't laid my hands on it yet. But who doesn't want a queer lion? No, I mean, I'm very proud of all these things, and. There's definitely some stress that accompanies this stuff. The Venice moment was wonderful. That was the Venice Film Festival. That was wonderful in a completely uncomplicated way. It had everything going for it. The film had never been seen publicly, and it was shown for the first time in front of an audience, and they just loved it. And we walked in, and the press conference, people don't clap at press conferences, they usually snarl. I mean, you walk in, and you're looking at a wall of, at best, inscrutability, if not utter hostility. And this was applause, and some of them were on their feet, and not everybody agreed how much they liked the film, but there was a general consensus that they liked it, and some people adored it. And we were all there together, and then the screening at Venice was, I think, a moment to be cherished for life, really, because as I said, this was a short shoot. There were very few of us making it. I was on my own as an actor on the set most of the time. I mean, the other actors, when they showed up, were a kind of vacation from my job because they made it so easy. They were so brilliant. There's nothing like having brilliant actors to just, give you your job for nothing. When Julianne showed up, I didn't have to do anything anymore. She was just so good, all I had to do was react. And it's the same with Nick Holt and Matthew Good, and even John Cortajarena, who plays the beautiful model outside the liquor store we're talking about. He'd never acted in his life. He was absolutely terrified, but I found him so good and so relaxed as an actor, I didn't feel I had to do a damn thing. So I had all that for nothing, but they weren't around that much. And so there were a lot of lonely days on the set where I was sort of going around craft service wondering if I could allow myself an M&M and still be able to close my Tom Ford jacket.
I was going to ask you about the Hershey bar in the movie, by the way. It's like on the desk on your office.
Spat it out. No, I didn't eat it.
But it's the only sign of any kind of disarray in the entire movie.
That's interesting. Yeah, one of George's little sort of
And you only
weaknesses
see
of
it
appetite.
once. It's not. There's a cut, and then it's not there anymore.
His whiskey bottle, you could attribute that to something of the fact that it's empty. He didn't, you know, his 3 last aspirin, you know. I think they're little signs of how he sustains himself.
Well, anyway, so there you were at the Golden Globes.
Oh, yes. It's not a clear memory, I have to say, partly because they didn't feed us. So, you know, if your dinner consists entirely of champagne, it's a wonderful anesthetic. I mean, I have to say, you know, if you have any expectations for awards, and at 50, they're, you know, if there's something wrong with you if they're not under careful management by that age. One is, you know, recognition of how worthy your opponent is, and the other is alcohol. And and also, quite frankly, you know, I woke up the red carpet and I walked into the room and I looked at where everyone was seated. It didn't look favorable. I mean,
Jeff Bridges was kind of right next to the
Clooney,
podium.
yeah. Bridges was next to the microphone that he was about to. And I was rammed up against the wall. You know, you can't get much further back. There was a table and there was a wall. I wasn't just at the last table. You know who pointed this out? It was Clooney at the end of the evening. Clooney, I ran into Clooney at the end, and he said, "Man, I thought you were going to win till I saw where you were seated." And where the table was, I was at the back of the last table, not at the front of the last table with a little bit of access. It was as if they couldn't have squeezed me further. It was like, you're not even going to the men's room. You know, if I'd even had an olive, I would not have been able to fit. And so what we had to do, actually, it wasn't me that even asked this. Somebody around that table very generously said, "We need to move the table." And I said, "Well, you don't do that at the Golden Globes. I mean, there are cameras everywhere. You don't get a bunch of A-list people lifting up a table to move." But they did. And you know what? Had there been a camera on us, you would have seen us all standing up. You would have seen me, Sophia Loren, Kate Hudson, Tom Ford, Julianne Moore, Fergie, and Livia, all going 1, 2, 3, whoa! Just so that I could breathe. So if there's anything to keep your hopes under management, you know.
Thank you so much for doing that.